but you've obviously navigated through that, innit?
Yeah.
So those are the issues, you've navigated through that. The easy question to ask is, how did you navigate through that? But of course, it's working on yourself and doing, obviously, what we've read in books in terms of just sharpening the axe, you know, in your downtime, ensuring that you've got the right skill sets. But do you think there was something deeper? Because you mentioned colour a few times. Do you feel like there was something else that was working against you, that you couldn't control?
Yeah, not that I couldn't control. I think
Okay.
obviously the colour is one thing I can't control, and I think you have to embrace that. And I think I just needed to, similar to Daps, I feel like Daps was very measured, calculated. I was kind of just going through the motions in a bit, and I think I'm honest enough to say that, like, okay, cool, there isn't a marketing or sales strategy at the moment. Let's develop one. Who do we need to reach out to? Because my journey was kind of different in the sense that what I was doing in my business, I do software, I do smart buildings, smart homes. What I was doing, I used to do that under employment. So I just kind of transitioned into being a freelancer. But then the challenge of having to try and scale up into a proper organization, I didn't really think things through. I was just kind of going with the flow a bit. But yeah, going through those challenges, I think I had to make sure I reached out to the right people. One thing that really benefited me was an accelerator program run by Barclays and Foundervine. It's called the Black Founders Accelerator Program. So it's a 12-week program. You have to be, the owners of your business have to be primarily black. And then they go through things like finance, pitching, sales, are you investor ready? So many things that...
Presentations.
Yeah, presentation. So many things that will help you bolster your business, scale your business, things that you didn't think about. So I think that is really helpful.
So there are tools, there are people that can help, and I think a lot of the issues lie in people actually not knowing, you know. And I think at Pioneer Space we want to sort of bridge that gap, and we want to ensure that people know where to go to get that knowledge, because there are so many businesses that are doing incredible things for the community, but unfortunately not a lot of people know about. But one thing I wanted to say, you know, we've spoken about that, and it goes hand in hand with obviously the business stuff that we've just spoken about as well. I don't know if you guys have heard of Plant Made. Plant Made,
yeah.
Amma. And I come across the story a couple of weeks back, you know, and I thought it's amazing. Essentially, it's a girl that her name's Amma. Actually, I shouldn't just call her that. So Amma, if you're listening, I do apologize. But yeah, Amma. I think she was let go out of a job through the stress. You know, she started to lose hair and stuff like that. Then between her and her brother, put £100 together, and then they started buying herbs and oils and stuff like that to treat. You know, he wanted to grow his beard. She wanted to stop her hair from thinning and stuff like that. And before you know it, the potion worked. £100 turned into £1,000 within the first 5 months. It was 100 grand. In the first year, they had turned over £1 million in sales. And you think, not even from like a financial perspective or business perspective, the personal growth that she's had to sort of go through, and the obstacles that she's had to sort of overcome to get to that level, just by being in a chaotic situation and turning it into something that's gonna, well, now she cherishes, and that brings in the money for her. I think it's amazing. And I think to myself, as a black person, just hearing that story alone is very inspiring, you know, which then obviously segues nicely into what we really want to talk about as well, which is supporting black businesses, how important that is. Is it a myth? What does it look like supporting black businesses? For me, I'll go first. For me, I think it's very important to support black businesses. I think there's a level of grace that we afford to other people, other business owners, that we don't afford to our kind. And I get it, you know.
Give me an example.
I think if something goes wrong in certain places, sometimes you turn a blind eye. But what I see, you know, and maybe I am living in a social media world when I see these things, because that is predominantly where I do come across it, is we're so quick to jump down the necks of the people that look like us, that are doing a business, forgetting the fact that, like you alluded to, you didn't have someone to go back to say, this is how you do this, in terms of like role models prior to starting. And people are people are literally making it up as they go on. So I feel like there should always be a level of grace when it's somebody that looks like you. And actually understanding the benefits it has on you would allow you to sort of exercise that level of grace. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen some things. I've seen TikTokers. I've seen these new school hairdressers, locticians. I see a video the other day. I'm trying to get my locks done, and there's a lady that's put on their £30 for 10 minutes late fee, £45.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Yeah.
Like, come on, like.
The whole customer service thing is a big thing. Like, it's a conversation that's been had so many times. Like, where can we do better there? And also, I feel like there's a lot of bad press regarding the customer service. Everyone says,
Talk to me.
Customer service is this and that, but there is a lot of good customer service as well. The other day I was in Ade's, shout out Ade's, African Cash and Carry, and they ran out of carrier bags or nylon bags, whatever you want to call them. And then the cashier wanted to get up, even though there was a line, to go and find me a carrier bag. I said, no, it's fine. Like, thank you very much. Like, I appreciate you going above and over.
But you're never going to come on TikTok and say, by the way, Addis did this for me. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's where sort of blurred lines are. And like, I get it. There's going to be times where it's not up to standards, yeah? But I just feel like when it isn't, like, what benefit are we... There's times where you gotta say it as it is, 100% in it. But I feel like there's this stockpiling and we're just hammering people when realistically we should be looking at progressive ways of dealing with it. And I'm talking from a consumer's perspective. From a business owner's perspective as well, of course, the question is what are you doing actively to change their perception? You know, but you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I think for me, people earn their money, right? So I think people do have a right to spend their money how they want to spend it. And I think for certain black people, we do have that conviction to support other black people because we know the struggles, etc.
Do you feel like it's innate or it's a conscious decision?
No, I think it's a conscious decision. I think people need to, like, if you understand the economic benefit of supporting black businesses, you will, and you will have grace for other black businesses. You will consciously choose to support black businesses. But there's also people who, they don't have that mentality. It's just, I've worked hard for my money, and if I'm going to choose a service, I'm going to spend my money how I want to spend it, right? And if they know that they're going to get a bad service potentially, or if they know the reputation that a business has potentially, they may just choose to go elsewhere. And I don't think you should be mad at that.
No, 100%. I think that's true.
I don't know, man.
No, I say no. I'm just being,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I understand what you're saying, bro.
Yeah.
Like, but I think you can't expect it. I think
You
that's
can't
where
expect
people go
what?
wrong.
Sorry, it's just so I don't misconstrue.
People expect, because my business is black, you have to support it.
No, okay. It has
Okay,
to.
is that wrong?
I believe so.
Why?
Because it's a business.
You know what? It's
shouldn't.
words.
Yeah, your business shouldn't be just for black people, unless that's what your business is for. But if your business is a restaurant, for example, anyone is welcome to come and spend their money. Like,
Of course, but you're not saying it's exclusive for black people though. We're not saying supporting black businesses is exclusive for just black people. Of a Caucasian man can come and support the business and stuff like that. But I think sometimes the conversation's being had because there isn't that much support from the black community, because a lot of people aren't supporting black businesses anyway. But the least you expect is your own people to support you. That's where the conversation's coming from.
And I think the words are important. It's not... I feel like we all have a responsibility to support black businesses. You don't have to purchase the product or service, but you can share, you can do word of mouth, you can uplift people. These are the things around support.
But I think just generally though, like, people are not going to get behind you until you're at a certain level. Like, I think that's naturally how it is. Like, even
I think that's true.
Within all communities, if you've got a business, obviously it would be great for people to support you. But I think if you go into that with that mentality, that's where you can lose. You know.
So are you saying?
I think you should build a great product, a great service.
Of course, that goes without saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But I think there is certain people who they don't have that mentality. It's just, I've got a product, you guys have to support me.
Oh, so it's sort of entitlement. Do you feel like there's entitlement?
Yeah, there's a lot of entitlement.
Right, but for the sake of the argument though, for the sake of the conversation though, we're not going low level. We're not looking at that. We're looking at people that have an equally quality product, right? Those are the people that we're looking at. We're looking at people that have a good quality product against this, and it's like, why don't you support this? That's the conversation. We're not going low level versus high level. Let's two people on the same level, yeah, the responsibility, like you alluded to, I think is to support that business. Now, there's various things that come out of it. It's a multivariate analysis that needs to be done. How accessible are black businesses? If I need bread, for example, and it's closed at 4 o'clock on a Sunday, what does that mean? I don't have bread and egg today. Do you get what I'm trying to say? The accessibility is one thing, but I'm saying if you have the ability to go support a black business, I think you should. I don't think it's causing any harm, especially if you know that the quality of the product or the service is the same. I think there shouldn't be this. I even think the conversation in itself sometimes it's like, why are we asking all these questions? Like, we afford these other people the grace of not having to answer these questions, right? Because we just go and shop. But I think that's something that we need to sort of look into ourselves. I think Swiss made the song Cry. You guys know about the Black Pound Day.
Yeah.
I didn't know this until a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know that he had opened a store, in Westfields. And there's over 80 brands, fashion, jewelry, all of these things within that store. That's amazing. The Black Pound Day is something that's well renowned now. We know that every time when the time comes around in the year, it's Black Pound Day because we need to keep the money within our community. Our spending habits are going up, but black wealth isn't going up. Black wealth isn't going up. So what does that tell me? I can imply that from that then, okay, we're earning decent money, but we just don't know how to keep it. Where's
Within
the
a
social
community.
keep it within the community? Yeah, like where's the social economic values to you being rich and you being rich? And if it's not being kept within our community to grow our community, to better our community, you can go as far as saying we're creating role models, we're creating jobs, local initiatives as a black business owner. Do you know what I'm saying? We need that. We need that. We need to be dependent on ourselves.
I agree.
We need to be dependent on ourselves. And I think the low level thing starts from supporting your black business. And do you know what? I grew up off a notion, yeah, and it's a crazy notion, innit? So don't judge me, innit? I grew up off a notion that my friend's right even when he's wrong, innit? In the public eye, yeah? In the public eye. Even if he's wrong, you're my friend. You are right. We'll adopt the same principle for black businesses. Because actually, why am I blasting my mate in front of the whole world when actually I do want you to be successful? Maybe I can give you that feedback, you know, I'll write you an email.
I guess that comes back to that TikTok you were talking
That's
about
what
in the
I'm saying.
beginning. Like, they could have done that a lot more gracefully.
What's the end result?
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve? Just embarrassment for this brand? Or actually, are you that interested in their growth that, okay, cool, maybe I'll find a different way of actually communicating this to them? And that's my thing, innit? Like, my thing is, like, there's more benefit in supporting black businesses and not piling onto your people online than there isn't if you don't. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And I think us as people just need to think about it. Of course, there's only so much you can take as well, right? But is it that bad?